big source of errors in exams is misunderstanding the question, misreading it, and making a small error that you don't fix when you check. Here's how you fix it. So I'm going to be looking at this biology paper and this physics paper. These are both past papers that I've done. The first thing I always do is to underline important parts of the question. You can do this with a highlighter as well. This just really helped me keep focus on what the question was asking, especially when the paper went on. If I lose focus, underlining would make sure I was really paying attention to what the question was asking and giving exactly what it wanted for the answers. The next tip is that I had a marking key. So up here, this spiral meant I need to check this question. So 5.4, I was right, I lost a mark on that question. I wrote that in the top corner, I put a spiral, which my symbol meant you need to come back and check this question as a priority check. If I had time, I would check the whole paper, but if I didn't, I would just go back to these spirals and check those. And then I also had, the second symbol I had was a star, and that just meant you skip this question. A lot of people use a star, so if I read a question and didn't really understand it, I wanted to come back to it later, I just put a star, move on. It's absolutely fine to do that. Use your time wisely. So I had two symbols, a star and a spiral. The next tip is also about checking. So when you go back and check your paper, people have the tendency to just read over what they wrote and see if it makes sense. But what this means is that your brain sort of switches off, and it makes it easy for your brain to just turn off, and you're just sort of mindlessly reading it. You think you're checking, but really you're not checking at all. What you're doing is just proofreading. Instead, what you should do is cover the answer you've written and redo the question in your head, and then see if it matches up to what you've written. And if it does, that is when you know that you've written what you think is correct. Otherwise, you'll just be mindlessly reading through your work, only checking for spelling errors and stuff like that. Also, in science papers, I would always prioritise calculation questions for checking. So I'd usually put a symbol to show there was a calculation question. I didn't this time, like a little plus minus symbol at the top to show there was a calculation on this page. And first I do the stars, then the spirals, then the calculations, then I check the rest. Obviously you don't have to do this, but this is just what I found, because it's a lot easier to make a small little error in a calculation than it is to make it in a written question. Hope that helps. Make your own key. You don't need to use the same symbols that I used, or have as many symbols, or have more or have less. It's really up to you. But that is just what I did when I did papers that I found worked for me and helped me to keep track of myself as I was doing the paper.